Can you explain how the breakdown of family structures in the community actually strengthens the appeal and power of gangs?
It's an interesting topic. I guess as a criminologist, these are one of the things that I oftentimes try to make sense of. And if I guess, take away just my hat as an academic and I think about my frontline experiences, when I often used to work within the local community and work with predominantly young males, young black males, many of them came from what we would call dysfunctional households, where mum and dad wasn't present. They may have had an older sibling that was incarcerated. They may have had younger siblings that were getting into trouble at school. They themselves were struggling within the education system. But somehow they was able to function. And that power and that resilience oftentimes led into communities becoming somewhat hostile to externals wanting to help. And when I think about those young men that I oftentimes used to work with that were coming from those particular backgrounds, there was this kind of need to want to be aligned with other individuals that may have reflected the absence of dad, the absence of older brother, the absence of older cousin. And if you think then in the tight-knit communities that exist, the friends that you go to school with, the individuals that you play football with, the individuals that you may meet on the weekends for a number of things, then become the surrogate family. So we use the word gang quite flippantly, and I have to be very conscious when I use the word gang because it's oftentimes gendered and it's also racialized, and it also has negative connotations to suggest that all young people that join gangs for the reason to be involved in criminal activity. But because you use the word family, I think it's important that we understand what sometimes groups, without using the term gangs, are. And they are surrogate families. And if you think of the basic needs that every human being needs, whether that is food, sustenance, whether that is safety, whether that is the ability to be seen and to be heard, to be respected, to understand one's purpose, all of those things become really important. So if you've got a level of dysfunctionality that exists within a household, within a community, and your group and your peers are able to somehow sustain you because they can give you money, whether that is illegal or illegal, whether someone can give you protection because there's a worry or a fear within the community because someone might harm me. So it means that I need to hang around with these groups of people. You may get a level of respect because you're not seen within the wider society as somebody that is valid within the community, because you're always seen as this alien or you're marginalized within a particular community. This group may give you validation because they'll be like, you know what, we respect you, we like you because you're able to do these things. And then some of our young people find purpose in the behaviors and activities that exist within that group. So now when we apply the word gang, you may have individuals within that group that are exploiting each other. You may have individuals that target young people within their community. You may have individuals within those particular groups that are doing really well because they use illegal means in order to get money, to get material things. So the appeal to get that within some particular environment seems like the pinnacle of where children and young people want to attain. Now, the problem is that there's many individuals like myself that work, that are doing amazing things. There are many individuals that are within the education sector, within social care, within mental health, that are doctors, that are lawyers, that are accountants, but they're not visible. And because they're not visible, when we talk about that pinnacle, that individual or group of people that people aspire to, oftentimes they're doing negative things. So that dysfunctionality oftentimes exists within local communities because there is a lack of role models, there is a lack of identity, there is a lack of unity, there is a lack of community. We talk about community a lot, which is interesting, but a lot of our young people don't feel part of the community. And oftentimes the communities in which they exist or coexist are oftentimes led by individuals and groups that don't see those young people as being part of the community. So then young people then become isolated, and they develop groups within community that they oftentimes call the group, the gang, the man them, and that's oftentimes what happens.